Hi, I'm Isaac, the Toolbox Community Manager, and welcome to Step 4 of our how-to tutorial videos for the Toolbox process. The Toolbox is an 8-step process to help anyone implement a sustainability program in their organisation, no matter the size or sector. In this short video, I will be taking you through all of the resources in Step 4 of the Toolbox methodology. The assets contained within Step 4 include the how-to guide, the quick guides, the case study, and 2 templates, the issues matrix and the legal and non-conformance register. Before we get started, you'll need to create an account on the Toolbox website to access our resources. Click the link in the description below to sign up now. In Step 4, we will be exploring material issues by taking a granular look at your organisation's opportunities and risks for implementing sustainable practices. So, let's get right into it. After talking with your stakeholders, it's time to outline what the issues are for your organisation. This quick guide includes the UN Sustainable Development Goals as a reference. These are 17 key objectives made by the UN to help tackle global systemic issues. Inside the graphic sit examples of different organisational activities to help you consider how they may impact the delivery of the goals. Before we go into the 6 key activities for examining issues, we should draw our attention to this quote from the IOC Essentials. Here it says, "Determining the scope of your sustainability program should ultimately be about the things you either have control or strong influence over." We must remember this process is about using your organisation's expertise as part of a wider system and defining what you can and what you cannot do as part of your sustainability program. The how-to guide, as shown here, also refers to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Using this lens, we can identify issues and impacts within our organisation around the themes offered by the goals, and, whilst referencing existing industry knowledge, resources and standards, we can frame what best practice looks like. The how-to guide outlines the 6 key activities in more detail. We will review our organisation's activities, identify the risks and opportunities and use the information obtained in steps 1 and 3 to include engagement from our team, research how peers have implemented a sustainability plan using industry benchmarks or certifications, compile and prioritise the issues surrounding our organisation, and define the scope and boundaries of the sustainability plan we will draw up in steps 5 and 6. There are also case studies which follow how other users implemented the step when they used the Toolbox methodology, giving you a like-for-like example of how to go through the process. Sustainability is effectively about minimising the risks and maximising the opportunities. We are taking action to minimise negative impacts and to create opportunities and maximise value, protecting people, the planet, and our profits. So, let's take a look in our toolbox. And for anyone who is familiar with a risk assessment, the issues matrix may look rather familiar. This matrix will help us identify the most material issues that arise from your activities. There are 2 sections to the matrix. The first is for listing organisational activities. Start the template by filling in column A. You can refer back to the Assessing Your Starting Point template, particularly to the Your Organisation and Your Operations theme, to help you identify activities. Next, to each activity, you will create a coded list of the sustainable development issues that might arise as a result of your activities. The code for this list is illustrated in the section on the right. Here, we've created a list of economic, social, and environmental issues. Each issue is labelled EC, EN, or S, and given a number to indicate the pillar which it refers to. This issue list is purely a suggestion, and we encourage you to undertake research and investigate industry-specific issues, as well as indicators from standards and certification criteria to deeper inform the issues in your list. In the References tab, we have links to industry standards to help you define the list for your organisation. For example, the UN Sustainable Development Goals themselves can go in your issues list. For even deeper analysis, there is also a published indicator framework, which you can also code and add to your issues matrix. The Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI standards, provide pre-coded indicators that can be linked to your issues analysis. And the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO standards, can also provide you with a baseline for good practice to devise your issues from. Returning to the template, we can see that next to the issues, columns I and J provide a space to outline the risks and opportunities that the issues may present. Categorize these issues by indicating whether your organization has influence over the issue or direct control over it. In the 5 columns, we create a prioritization score for the issue. Use your stakeholder engagement feedback to inform the score and therefore understand the likelihood of an issue occurring, the severity of its consequences, and the extent of the legislation, policy, or regulation around the issue. You will now have a total score to indicate the issue's importance and an idea of the control that you have over it. The analysis that you make here will then help you in step 5 to create meaningful and clear goals and targets, and this will then help you outline the scope and boundaries of your wider sustainability strategy. It also works alongside the legal obligations register, which we will go into next. In step 4, we are looking into identifying the risks and opportunities regarding climate change, environmental degradation, and social inequalities, while adapting to new challenges that may be on the horizon. At the core of this, we need to make sure that we are already meeting existing obligations and regulations within our organisation's operations. So for that, we have the Legal Obligations and Non-Confromance Register. Let's take a look. The purpose of a legal register is to record all legislation and other requirements that may be directly or indirectly applicable to your organisation, operations, and activities. It provides the means by which your organisation can demonstrate compliance with the law. The first part of the register contains a disclaimer on how to use the legal register. Please go through this and ensure you understand the terms of use laid out. The second tab contains 17 generic legislative themes with 2 tables to add legislation under each theme. The third follows the same format, but allows you to input your own legislative themes. Your register will hold a summary of legislation and the organisation's relationship to it within each table, outlining the topic, the named regulatory citation that you are required to follow and the key requirements of that legislation, the regulator that ensures compliance with the law, the scope of the legislation, and the relevance to your organisation. Your organisation will self-determine its compliance rating to indicate the degree to which the business is compliant with applicable legislation and other obligations. To do that, your organisation must investigate and continuously record any conformity or non-conformity in the Non-Confromance Register, here in tab 4. This allows you to record and track when, where, and how legislation or regulations are being followed. You should log all non-conformance incidents with a corrective action request number, a date, who raised the issue and where it was raised, the compliance issue at play and compliance category, details of the incident and the department manager, any corrective and preventative action plan details, a target date for completion and resolution of the non-conformance, and a root cause analysis. You can then indicate the status of compliance in each table. The rating levels are compliant without need for further action, compliant but requires ongoing management, non-compliant and requires corrective action, not applicable to the organisation. The last 2 cells include links to the non-conformance history in the non-conformance register, and a cell to outline the actions, recommendations, or current control measures that the organisation undertakes to change or maintain its compliance status. Examples in the template are based on UK legislation, so it will be necessary for your organisation to refer to the relevant legislative texts within the location or locations you operate in, and review each summary to confirm or rule out its applicability. It should be noted that inclusions and comments are not exhaustive, as this template constitutes neither a complete statement of related policy and legislation nor legal opinion. Your organisation's directors are responsible for ensuring that your organisation complies with legal obligations and regulations, and should seek specialist advice should it be necessary. So those were our 5 tools in step 4. You should now have an analysed view of the issues that pertain directly to your organisation and a clear oversight of the legal obligations and regulations which your organisation should adhere to. In the next step, we will be setting goals and targets around all of the discoveries we have made in the last 4 steps. As you take a deep dive into the issues of your organisation and need more support, please email info@sustainabilitytoolbox.com and we'll be happy to provide one-to-one support and any other support that you may need. For now, thank you for watching and all the best in identifying your issues.